Hello, everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 9 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Dickies 500 here at Texas Motor Speedway, the second of two Texas Double Crown events. As the previous race we ran Texas World, now we're at Texas Motor Speedway. But I'm not alone for the first time in I don't know how long. I got two co-commentators with me. First, welcome back Mr. Tony Stewart himself, Kyle Matthews.
It's good to be here.
And joining me, first time in quite some time, the Dung Man himself, the man who invented the Dylan Young move, Mr. Dylan Young.
Hey, thank you for having me here. It's been a while too, but I'm happy to be here. Always.
Absolutely. So, yeah, with considering how this schedule is with different kind of swings we go into, like different regions of the country or around the world, yeah, this is the second of the two Texas Double Crown races, and then the next three races to come will be international based, as the first race of that will be at Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne, Australia. That's going to be interesting, but we'll see about with the rest of the schedule how it will look. But regardless, so as you guys saw at the top of the video, the points recap, but a quick recap for everybody here, the top 10. After our previous race at Texas World, Jay Jefferson maintains a 55-point lead over rookie Daniel DK, 70 over Carson Gum, 105 over Jonathan Zorline, 120 over our winner from Texas World, Scott Groverston, 155 over James Qualls, 160 over both Henry Sanford and Michael Norman, 225 over Cole Deaver, and 240 over Kyle Matthews. So still fairly close, about a little over a race worth of points separating the top 10, but anything can change on a whim, especially given the bottom 5 circumstance. If you finish bottom 5, no points given. But before we get into the starting lineup, I wanted to ask you each this. So first, Dylan, you've had an up and down season so far. You did come through with a solid run at Texas World and moved back into the top 20 in points. What would you say is your strategy going forward into trying to get yourself yet another championship in this YouTube channel?
I would say just consistency. Consistency is always a big key. You know, the goal, if you don't go for the win, is try to get top 10s and top 5s. If you can do that, you can maximize your point value and try to work your way up into the area where if you're battling for the championship, you know, you'll be right there when the time is right. So as long as you don't go into a bad slump, just try to find your consistent role and really kick it in if you're not going for the win.
And considering with this new point structure where the maximum points you can score in a race is 195, and that's including 180 for winning, but 5 bonus points for leading a lap, 5 for leading the most laps, and 5 for getting the pole. And then if you get bottom 5, yeah, that's 195 points difference in one race for sure. So, like I said, things can change on a whim. But Kyle, since you have already picked up a win this season back just recently, a few races ago at Talladega, didn't have the best of runs at Texas World, but you're still top 10 in points. What do you think you have to do in order to try and get win number 2 and move forward into trying to get the one thing that has long eluded you, and that's a championship?
It sounds like we have to work on consistency a little bit. I mean, now we're in the top 10 in points, which is nice. Got the win at Talladega. Just got to work on being consistent. Got to try to stay out of trouble as much as we can and just try to be there at the end. That's always the big thing.
Especially at high-speed tracks like this where the big one can strike really at any moment. Especially here at Texas, as this track was notorious early on in this YouTube channel's history in 2014 for some wacky, bizarre accidents. But we'll see how it all plays out here tonight. But top 10 in the starting lineup, Dylan Young scores his first pole of the season, and starting next to him is James Qualls. Row 2, we have Jordan Forbes, Laney Marino. Row 3, Jesse Turner, Scott Groverston. Row 4, Joey Parkhill, Ricky Karaman. And then row 5, 2 of the top 3 in the standings, Jay Jefferson and Carson Gum. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Dickies 500 at Texas.
Drive
So all 40 drivers now on the racetrack around Texas, and considering that the insane speeds these cars go through at this racetrack, and how it almost is like a restrictor plate track given how the racing is here, any picks on who you think's going to win, gentlemen? Dylan?
This is going to be very tough because, of course, like as mentioned, it's a very fast speedway, and you can hit speeds at least nearly 200 miles an hour, if not even give and take. I'm looking at Jesse Turner in that 17. He's obviously known this track very, very, very well. And, you know, outside the channel, he's been a former winner of this. So definitely do not ever doubt Jesse in any type of way. That 17 car could be coming alive toward the end stages if he stays out of trouble.
And before we get Kyle's pick for pace cars in pit road, ladies and gentlemen, boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing. Well, Dylan Young got to lead the first lap, but is now in the middle of a three-wide situation as Jordan Forbes takes the top spot for the time being. But here comes Dylan Young's pick, Jesse Turner, to get up to the lead for himself. But anyway, so Kyle, who do you have possibly winning this race?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, this type of track, and it doesn't. I don't think it really favors any particular type of driver. Just whoever can time it perfectly and be there at the end. Why not? I'll take the pole sitter in the 2 car.
Oh, geez, that's going to scare me now.
But anyway, so now Joey Parkhill has the race lead, and he just got back into the top 30 in the point standings after Texas World moved up from 32nd to 29th, so he barely locked his way into this race. And wow, look at that lap time, 26.004, but that's not even the fastest. Daniel DK with the fastest at 25.839. It goes to show you how fast these cars really do go as they enter the corner at about 206 and then exit out of 4 at 198. So not really much off the gas at this track.
No, and these cars are definitely flying for sure, but there's another thing too, of course, is that if there's a crash, someone's going to hit the wall pretty hard. I can tell you that for no doubt whatsoever, man. Especially if they come off of turn 4 off the exit of that corner, man, who knows exactly what can happen. And one other thing I noticed too is when that start first came, the outside line actually did have a bit of momentum trying to keep even with Dylan Young in the 2. But right at the very end, once that inside line really kicked in, man, that's where you really want to be.
Absolutely.
The way they're racing right now, if there is a wreck, there's going to be a lot of them in it.
Absolutely. And right now, Lisa Nelson now trying to take the race lead over for herself.
Ooh.
As Lisa...
I didn't mean to cut you off, Levi, but there was someone that almost caused the wreck. They were nearly 4 wide in the middle of the pack there. They almost caused disaster right there. And they're just about 4 wide right there, but 3 by 3 for the time being.
And look who's now taking the race lead. 2-time champion Dylan Jacobs in the 41. And Jacobs, he as well has had an up and down start to the season. It's like, once he gets a good run, then he falters the next race. Good run, falters. He had a really good run back at Texas World, so who knows if he can pull through and get his first win of the season Season 5 and Season 7 champion. And speaking of former champions, here comes the Season 8 champion, Seth Cole, who qualified his way into this race as he came in 32nd in points. He's just been struggling here in the early going, but maybe today could be the day he breaks his winless streak or a lack of momentum and get momentum on his side.
Now he's going to lead this lap here and get 5 bonus points.
And right behind him is a driver with a mission, Raphael Leduc. As I keep saying every race, this is his farewell season. He will be retiring after Season 10, and he wants to go off with at least one more win. And whoa! Cut off Jonathan Zorlin in the 00, but Zorlin had too big of a run. He's trying to get second as Leduc's teammate, Patrick Smith, is trying to get into the picture as well. And how about rookie Lindsay Snyder in that #1 Burger King Dodge for the Shadow Cult Racing team, as this is only her 3rd career start, and she's only 35th in points, just 185 back of 30th. And so far, 11th in her first start, and then got a top 5 in her previous start, and she looks to be en route to continue a streak of good runs, but now she's put up to the top side and going to lose some spots.
Yeah, she almost just got put into 4 wide right there. She lost a little bit more momentum there. That Mellow Yellow there machine there almost just got it right underneath into that corner panel. You know, 4 wide comes around, that's it. They're done.
And they are really trying to do that, though I also noticed too that sometimes, especially in the dog legs on the front stretch, the cars on the very bottom tend to back off the gas a little bit. I don't know if it's because of judgment or they just don't have the grip down there to run that low on the racetrack or what, but Matt McIntyre has the lead for now, but Dylan Jacobs making a comeback at it.
Look at Belding trying to make a 3 wide, but just lost that momentum just right at the exit of that start-finish line right there. I'm telling you, and you make a very fair point. They're just kind of just letting off the throttle just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit of a pinch. And man, I'm telling you, they're getting racy over here. They're about 4 wide right there.
They are 4 wide now, and there they go! Zorlin and Smith and Sanford hard into the wall.
Oh, look out, Cody, hang on. He was about sideways there, and I have no idea how they kept it together.
Only a 3-car accident, which is incredible, but caution is out, and Dylan Jacobs was the one to lead at the line.
Man, they had a wreck right there coming off of 3, and then they also had a secondary wreck coming off of 4 there. I have no idea how Cody kept that car together, but he did. Yikes.
How this was only a 3 or 4 car wreck is beyond me. The way they were all on top of each other like that, that's just amazing.
I know, and everybody's going to come into pit road. I had a feeling that these cars would have to pit at least once. So depending on the fuel window, if this is our only stop, they may be cutting close on fuel if we stay clean and green the rest of the way when we get back to racing. But let's go to the pit lane camera to watch and see who will come out ahead. Because I remember at Texas World, during one of the only pit stops of the race under caution, some cars went with no tires, some went with 2, some went with 4. Who knows?
Yeah, and Texas is also a very big strategical race there too, so you have to really watch your pit window no matter what it be, not just for fuel but for tires as well, because the tire wear can actually wear out a little bit there too, so that's another thing to keep in mind for these drivers.
And it looks like
Jacobs going to lead the field.
Yeah, then Carmen, Belding, Marino, and Henry all going to come out ahead.
Oh, it's getting cluttered over here in pit road. Look at how they're jammed up over there.
Yeah, and I see rear end damage on Patrick Smith's car. Looks like somebody might have ran into him coming into pit road, and they just were not slowing down.
Yeah, and then that pit road, you have to be patient on that one. It's just, there's not a lot of room right there. So, you know, when you're stuck in a very front area of pit road, like you notice how, like, the top 3 or 4 drivers were when they started the race, they had to wait. And, you know, you want to keep your car clean and all that. You don't want to get damaged. So I don't blame them for just taking the extra second just to wait to not get run over. So, good call right there.
Yeah, after all, this is the most narrow pit road of any racetrack. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay to find out what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Texas. So all this is going to begin off of turn number 2. It's 4 wide with Patrick Smith, Jonathan Zorling, Henry Sanford, and Keith Miller Jr. all right on top of each other. And right there, a little bit of contact between the 15 and the 07 to kind of start this going forward, as then when they get into turn 3, it's about to get even worse. And I noticed this too, and the reason why I went back here to check this out, because I noticed they were 4 wide. But the first contact in 3, it's going to be with Patrick Smith and Jonathan Zorling, and it causes Zorling to come down, and Henry Sanford winds up getting being the meat in the sandwich between the 15 and the 61, and just the 07 to 61 and the 00 just go up the racetrack into the outside wall pretty good. I think they're all still going to be able to continue on with the rest of the race, but 2 of them at least might be off the pace. Now let's see
Henry
if we
Sanford
can
could have gotten away
find-
with it too, but he lost control of that car. And once that 61 kind of, fishtailed right there, that was it. He lost it. Man, I'm telling you, Cody got really lucky after all that. Same with the 39 right there. When they were wrecking, they actually hit the apron trying to avoid the accident. They almost had a secondary accident right there. Good work and good judgment by both drivers right there.
Yeah, as they were trying to make sure they didn't get hit at all. And wow, Groverston nearly got tagged by the 00 as he was pirouetting down the racetrack. But yeah, everybody
Look at Toki almost ran him over. Holy cow, that was a very close call right there. Look at they about wrecked. That was close.
Yeah, that is incredible. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Texas. Well, no cars out of the race after that caution. All 40 drivers on the track and still on the lead.
You think they're done wrecking?
I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, Dylan Jacobs is still your race leader. Second is Ricky Carmen. Third is Charles Belding. Fourth, Laney Marino. Fifth is Riley Henry. Sixth is Lindsey Snyder. Seventh, Seth Cole. Eighth, Matt McIntyre. Ninth, Caleb Kilburn. 10th, DJ Curtis. 11th, Quentin Moore. 12th, Kyle Matthews. 13th, Keith Miller Jr. 14th, Jesse Turner. 15th, Lisa Nelson. 16th, Jessica Shelton. 17th, Melissa Alexander. 18th, Dylan Poteet. 19th, Joey Parkhill. 20th, Jordan Forbes. And the rest of the field is Cody Lamas, Daniel Voiles, Scott Groverston, Zachary Fitzwater, Carson Gum, Jordan Lopez, Raphael Leduc, Cole Deaver, Ryan Acosta, William Brock, James Qualls, Dylan Young, Matt Haas, Daniel DK, Michael Norman, Alyssa Drayson, Jay Jefferson, Henry Sanford, Jonathan Zorling, and Patrick Smith. Green flag back out. We still got 25 laps of racing left here at Texas. And Laney Marino, did not get going on that restart. Now she's about to lose several spots. Battle on for the lead as here comes Ricky Carmen out of Horseman Racing to the race lead for himself. But look at Riley Henry.
Tell you what, Seth Cole in that 25 rather in that FRN Chevrolet, man, ever since that restart, he just got going. He's just shot out of a cannon. He's already trying to take that lead away. But is going to fall into second place right now. But, man, watch out for that FRN Chevrolet, man, in the closing stages, man. That 25 is just flying. Whoa!
Yeah, really some contact as Matt McIntyre had a full head of steam, getting a bit of a push from his teammate, DJ Curtis, as them two, along with Jonathan Dorland, all own their own operation of KMZ Racing. And they'll be back together in Season 11, but DJ Curtis going to switch from the 33 to the 4. Next season, but still the same team regardless. But Riley Henry, and this is just his sophomore season. He was a rookie back in Season 9, didn't make very many races. This season he's only missed one race, 28th in the standings. He just wants to be able to get his first career win, as he'll be back in that car next season as well.
You see it right now, ever since that caution, they've only been meaning to keep single file and double file for the time being, but I mean, anything could still really change as the laps keep ticking away, so that's something to really keep in mind as this race progresses. We are past halfway now, so anything is still aboard, but look at that 09, look at the inside for second place. Kyle Matthews just shooting down low, and he's going to now try to go for the lead.
Trying to get 2 for 1 here. Good run by that 09 car. It's got the 15 right behind him.
Dove it in the corner.
Yeah, Kyle Matthews, like I said, trying to be the first multi-time winner of the season. As so far, 8 races in, 8 different winners. And whoa, Zorling!
Four-line.
Oh, look out! Oh, and he is just holding up cars. Wow, I'm amazed the four. Woof.
That's really going to break up the pack right there. Here's going to be a big breakaway for the top 4 or 5.
Those drivers in the high line. Oh, man. Those drivers in the high line are just getting completely bombarded by Jonathan Zorlin there, and they're going to cause a wreck if they keep it up.
And the 00 is not the only car we see off the pace. You see
Patrick
the
Smith
07 of Henry Sanford.
Well. And whoa, side swipe! A big side swipe by, I don't know who that was. That was Jordan Forbes that side swiped to 61. I don't know how that wasn't a caution.
That was pretty close, I'm not going to lie. And Patrick Smith, man, he is just causing an issue left and right. Oh man, that's the second car to do that.
The 07 of Henry Sanford holding guys up. We saw hold up some of the leaders, and now these guys are getting held up by him. Boy, a couple of road hazards out there now. This ain't gonna be good.
Well, the max you're noticing there, guys, they're only going about 185 as the leaders are going 205. That's a big difference right there, at least 20 miles an hour. So you can tell that's going to be an issue as the race progresses there.
And right now,
How are they
Miller
not getting
Jr.
the black flag?
Who knows? But anyways, Keith Miller Jr. currently holding on to the lead, but Seth Cole trying to get that run to get the lead back. And how about Caleb Kilburn? Kilburn so far this season, and yet this is also his farewell season as well. It was just announced recently that this will be his final season as he will vacate the number 99 in Season 11. And so far he's missed 2 races, 42nd in points. Right now looking good up here at the front of the field as he's getting pushed by the rookie Lindsey Snyder, who, like I said, average finish in 2 races of 7.5. And she's looking en route to try and get her first career win.
She can do it in her 3rd race. That's pretty dang incredible. And I'm telling you, for those drivers that are just trying to, make races and all that, this is a big confidence boost, especially if you can get a win right off the bat. That really tells you got something in the future in the making there. But at the same time, I mean, there's still a long ways to go in the season. Anything's still possible.
And speaking of anything possible, here comes some of those drivers that got separated earlier from the slower cars. Kyle Matthews back into the picture, same with Riley Henry. And then we got Cody Lamas leading a second group of cars from 10th on back as they're trying to catch back up, but they are a good ways away back.
Yeah, they're probably just relying on those slow cars to come again and probably hold up the leaders again. But Jordan Forbes, look out, Zorlin again.
And wow!
Oh my!
Splitting it 4 wide again.
Wow.
Did you have timed that comment any better, Dylan? I don't think so.
My goodness gracious. Man, Zorlin and Patrick Smith, they have been moving chicanes there. They have just, I'm telling you, that 61's gotten sideswiped twice, and then you got the 00 who's even just as slower, and my goodness. Let alone Smith's not even going 170 miles an hour. That's scary right there.
Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on the 61 for now. Whoa, he nearly got turned by the 15.
I thought Seth Cole was going to get in the back of the 27. I mean, just catching these guys at such a high rate of speed with these guys being
and the
off
caution
pace.
is out. Oh, and Zorlin was the cause. Oh, 2 young motorsports drivers, Dylan Young and Zachary Fitzwater, get caught up in it. Zachary Fitzwater's bad luck continues.
And that's the last thing you want to see if you're the leaders, too, because, especially how when we go back to green, it's going to be less than 10 to go. So those drivers that were getting held up by the slower cars, that's going to be single file from here on out. So that's going to be a lot of trouble there.
And who knows if they got enough gas to make it to the end, especially given how close the fuel window is when they pitted under that first caution. But yeah, another 3-car incident, and whoa, Fitzwater running over DJ Curtis.
I don't know if that's retaliation or something, but I don't know, man. That's gonna be bad. I can tell you that for a fact.
Well, we saw the 00 involved in this thing, so I have a pretty good idea of how this thing started.
I do too.
Well, with that said, why don't we take a look and see what did bring the caution out for the second time today here at Texas. Well, just as we thought, it was because of the slower car of Jonathan Zorlin, as drivers were just getting fed up with getting held up by him, as well as Patrick Smith and Henry Sanford. But the action's going to begin once we come off of turn 2 here, as drivers on the high side finally get by the 00, and the 00 thinks, okay, you might be good to go up to the top to let the drivers on the inside line go. But as we see, comes up a little bit too soon, and DJ Curtis had a full head of steam, and he was not happy with his teammate. And yeah, that's teammates right there. Curtis turns his teammate around, and that's what gets all this started. And then cars just get boxed in, got nowhere to go. Dylan Young, Zachary Fitzwater just boxed in. But luckily, the 2 and the 12 didn't really sustain much damage, just minor cosmetic damage at best. But so now we might have a reason why the 12 was hit the 33, because it was technically the 33 that did start this by turning his own teammate around.
I think that was a lack of driver and spotter communication on that.
That too. that
And
is
you
low.
noticed too with Zorlin, he didn't even go 170 miles per hour. And those guys on the inside line, they were getting held up. And, you know, like as mentioned before, DJ Curtis, Dylan Young, all those drivers in the high line, they were just flying there. And that's the last thing they wanted to see. And unfortunately, Curtis, I mean, he ran him over. And I can see where Fitzwater got upset. But at the same time, man, I guarantee you Zorlin's going to get a lot of flock in the garage there.
No doubt. Well, that was a look at the replay. Why don't we take you to the restart here at Texas? Well, after that second caution, no cars out of the race still, but 3 cars that are a lap or more down, and it's Henry Sanford, Patrick Smith, Jonathan Zorling. But anyways, when we get back to racing, there'll be 8 laps to go. Jordan Forbes is your race leader, 2nd Kyle Matthews, 3rd Riley Henry, 4th Caleb Kilburn, 5th Lindsey Snyder. 3 Shadow Call Racing drivers in the top 5, in 1st, 3rd, and 5th. Keith Miller Jr. in 6th, Quentin Moore 7th, Seth Cole in 8th, so yeah, Patrick Smith's still going to be a nuisance for this restart. Jordan Lopez 9th, and then James Qualls in 10th. Rest of the top 20 is Michael Norman, Cody Lamas, Jay Jefferson, Dylan Jacobs, Ricky Carman, Melissa Alexander, Charles Belding, Jessica Sheldon, Laney Marino, Scott Groverston. Then it's Alyssa Drayson, Cole Deaver, Carson Gum, Raphael Leduc, Matt Haas, Lisa Nelson, Dylan Poteet, William Brock, Matt McIntyre, Ryan Acosta, and then the rest of the field on the lead lap, Daniel Voiles, Jesse Turner, Daniel DK, Joey Parkhill, DJ Curtis, Zachary Fitzwater, and Dylan Young. Green flag is back out. Jordan Forbes got a great jump on that restart.
Oh,
I'm
man.
going to go back to the 61 as he held up Jordan Lopez. But everybody else seems to be going by fairly easily. Wow.
They are teasing it, man. I'm telling you, they are teasing those moments, and that's the last thing you need to see as a driver, especially with less than 10 to go. And that 9 car's got to be really careful and patient. And now, there you go. Get the clearance and get around the 61.
And how about that? Within not even 3/4 of a lap, Lopez goes from 39th from 9th to 37th as a result.
But you knew, too, that 61 was going to be so far off the pace. You know, those leaders that were behind, their main goal was just to get around the 61 as quickly as possible. So that way, if they have a shot bound for the win, you just got to get around them and hope for the best.
And keep in mind, nobody came to pit road under that caution.
Yeah, so we got to be worrying if these drivers are going to make it on gas, because I believe the pit window here at Texas is about 25, 26 laps. And they came into pit road during the first caution around lap 14, 15. So they're going to be cutting it close. Maybe those extra caution laps might have helped, but I don't want to jinx anything. Knock on wood.
Actually, I think I noticed was that the drivers who got involved in that accident actually were the ones that came down pit road. So I think it was Fitzwater, Dylan Young, and I think another driver as well. So I don't know. Maybe they could be in the catbird seat. I could be totally wrong, but I'll tell you what, though, Lindsey Snyder up to second place right now. If she can get up to Jordan Forbes' back bumper and try to battle for this win, we may see some history tonight.
Maybe,
Everybody
but
racing for second spot. The 39 cars, 11 what's going on in the rearview mirror.
as it's now 4 laps to go, and Jordan Forbes trying to not only get his... there's Zorlin again.
They're split him down the middle. Holy cow. Qualls.
Whoa, Qualls and Llamas about get together, but they keep it
even
together.
more aggressive. Holy cow.
Whoa, Leduc.
I'll tell you what, 2 cars, man, should take advantage on the high line thanks to the doubles here. They literally split them down the middle with the guys that got held up in the inside line and the lap car on the high line. I don't know how they made it work. It was the 78 and the 41, but that was unbelievable. And Henry Sanford, oh, yikes, that's bad.
But that helped bring the battle for the lead closer, but they also now got Patrick Smith to deal with.
Oh, Matthews went to the low line, and that was a mistake right there. And are they coming down pit road?
No, they... Oh, no, the caution is out. Oh, it's Henry Sanford who gets turned.
That's going to be the race.
That's going to be it, and are they going to race it back? They are going to race it back, it looks like. Or no, they're slowing down.
I think the 78 I also seeing got involved. I think he got into one of the lap cars there. I think he may have gotten involved with Smith. I'm not too sure, but if everything looks official, looks like Jordan Forbes is going to be the winner of the race there. Unbelievable, though.
And look at that. First, second, and third Shadow Cult Racing drivers right there.
I'll tell you what, team win. They got to be happy all together and hit the line. That's white flag, but Wow, I guarantee you a lot of these drivers not going to be too happy with how the lap traffic played into the circumstance right there, especially how way off the pace they were.
Yeah, but regardless,
Some shadow
what
pull
a
trying to
race it
pull a
was.
Hendrick Motorsports.
Almost. They're missing 3 other drivers, as they are a 6-car operation. But we'll get into that whenever we take a look at the results. But yeah, we're going to watch this final lap as we're trying to assess everything. So what I'm going to assume happened is with Henry Sanford being not as off the pace as the 00 and the 61, but probably going to assume a similar situation happened.
Cody Lamas, he got involved in that accident, you see, with that left side damages. Again, with the 78, I'll tell you, I know, remember when we saw that first slow car catching up? That was that 00. 78 and the 41, they were flying. They went through the middle to get around the 00 and the cars who got checked up on the inside line. I have a feeling they caught up to Patrick Smith and may have gotten involved in an accident. I'm not too sure, but we'll take a look in a minute. But like I said, Jordan Forbes, he's got this in the bag. He'll be a winner today.
So we're coming out of turn number 4 for the final time. Looks like everybody was good on gas. Checkered flag getting ready to wave. First win of the season for Jordan Forbes. Jordan Forbes wins the Dickie's 500 at Texas. And not only is this a big win for him, but this is going to help him stay in the top 30 in points, as he came in only 45 points ahead of 31st. So he definitely needed a good showing to keep himself locked into future races. But
and the win definitely helps the confidence, too. That also helps out, too.
Absolutely. And what a historical moment for the Shadow Call Racing team. Never before has that team gotten this many of their drivers to finish in the top 5 or even top 10 with 1, 2, 3, and 8 right there.
That's pretty good right there. Let alone just for a 1, 2, 3 right there alone. That's pretty amazing right there. That team's got to be really happy, but man, I can't wait to see what brought out the caution, though. That's going to be interesting.
4 of their 6 cars in the top 8 there. Yeah, that's
absolutely
pretty good.
Well, let's take a look at the rest of the results. Riley Henry, he was a strong car all night long. Was in the top 5 pretty much the entire time, but just could not get the momentum on his side to try and get that first career win. But this is his first top 5 finish of the season and second, so it's got to be a big confidence booster for him. Lindsay Snyder, second straight start with a top 5 finish, and her worst finish so far in 3 starts, 11th. So I got a feeling she's going to be close to making it into the top 30 in points, possibly going forward. Kyle Matthews, another great top 5 finish in 4th, even though he's probably got to be boiling a little bit with Jonathan Zorling, because he had a run to try and get the win if that hadn't happened. But still, definitely going to move him probably even into the top 5 in points if possible. And then Caleb Kilburn with his first top 5 finish of the season in 5th. Keith Miller Jr. with a solid performance in the 6th spot. Quentin Moore, he's starting to break out of his shell a little bit, and he gets a 7th place run. Jay Jefferson continuing consistency as the points leader, finishing in 8th. James Qualls with a great comeback run after a lackluster run at Texas World, finishing 9th. And then Charles Belding rounding out the top 10. And then there is the rest of your top 20, top 30, and the bottom 5 for this week. Yet again, I believe this is at least the 4th time this season that Zachary Fitzwater has finished in the bottom 5. The man has just not been able to catch a break since winning the Daytona 500. Then DJ Curtis, Henry Sanford, Patrick Smith, and Jonathan Zorlin, the bottom 5. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at Texas Motor Speedway. I'd like to thank Kyle Matthews and Dylan Young for stopping by.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me as well there. It's been great.
Good to do this race. We're not going to take a look at. We're not going to see what brought out the caution.
No, since that was right there at the very end. But of course, we'll look at it after the fact. But regardless, that does it for the Texas Double Crown. Next 3 races, we get into the international swing. Next 3 tracks are going to be in a different part of the world, as the next race is going to be held in Melbourne, Australia at Calder Park. Then we head to Japan for Twin Ring Motegi, and then the race before All-Star break, we head over to Europe at Champs-Élysées. But until then, here is Jordan Forbes Victory Burnout and the point standings heading into Calder Park. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.